Hey everybody, welcome back. It took me months to finish season 3, but hey, we're here now, and I'm going to be doing my usual review video. But before we start on the review, I just have a few topics I want to get out of the way. The first is the most light of the other two. I know for people on YouTube, everybody's been very excited because for the past week, I have been uploading at least one episode a day or more. In pretty quick succession. The main reason for that was because on Patreon, at the end of season 3, I was like 6 episodes behind on YouTube, editing-wise. That's my own fault for getting so far ahead of Patreon, because to be honest, it's way easier to do my full reaction, go into my editing program, put the picture-in-picture, and render it and upload it. It's just a way quicker process, so it takes much longer to edit for the YouTube version because I had to cut it down at least by half or more and decide what scenes to cut out, and it's pretty difficult. So I used to do the full reaction then right away do the YouTube reaction, but that became a little difficult, so my bad. But so now that I'm caught up on both, YouTube's gonna slow down again. Patreon and YouTube, I'm going to try to keep closer together, and I'm going to try to at least get out 2-3 episodes a week. Hopefully 3 is my plan. So just for the YouTube people that were maybe thinking that was going to be my new thing, like daily uploads, no, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed the little binge marathon I gave. Okay, so that out of the way, the next topic I want to do is, somebody brought this to my attention, and it's always been kind of my worry since I started reacting. I've always been worried about, like, what if I don't love a certain character everybody loves? Or what if I don't love a fan favorite episode? Or what if I don't react to a scene the way everybody, like, expects people to react to a scene? Or what if I don't love a relationship? Or, like, as much as everybody else does. It's always been, like, my worry, but it's never really seemed to come up until when I reacted to the prom. It was only like one main comment that brought it to my attention, but somebody else made kind of the same comment. Apparently during the speech Jonathan gave to Buffy, apparently every reactor that's reacted to this either cries, gets choked up, emotional, and somebody was very disappointed that apparently I wasn't emotional at all during it. And that's not true. I was actually very emotional. I thought it was a beautiful moment. I felt the tears coming, but I can't force myself just like all out cry if I don't feel that. It was emotional, and maybe in a future rewatch I will. It could also be because I'm in front of the camera. Sometimes, I mean, you guys are getting way more reaction than I would normally do by just watching. If I'm watching an episode without anybody doing it, like watching me, I might react differently. But I'm reacting in front of the camera, and when I'm watching on my own, I don't give my thoughts. I don't talk usually. I just, silently watch an episode. So you're getting way more reaction out of me by seeing me react to it, and that's why I started doing reactions, so I could discuss things with you guys and show my genuine reaction to things. But I think you've seen me cry during Passion and Becoming Part 2. I think I'm more of a person that cries more on deaths, or like, sad deaths, or like stuff like that. I'm not saying that's the only thing I'm ever going to cry to. I don't know what's going to happen. I've been teary-eyed for little music cues, like when they played Jenny's theme, or when they played the Angel theme. Like, I get choked up. You've seen me get emotional over things. I just think somebody commented, and they made a great point, that you shouldn't be disappointed if a reactor doesn't react the way you want. Like, you think, oh, they have to cry, they have to laugh, they have to get mad at this certain point, or I'm not going to like the reaction. And that's not genuine. Everybody reacts differently. I'm sure if you go and look at one scene of one episode and go through every reactor, they're going to react differently. Some might have no reaction, some might be sobbing, some might be a little choked up. And that's what makes reactions fun, seeing people react different ways. I'm sure different reactors love certain characters and other ones don't like them. They love different characters, different couples. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's just been something I've been worried about. But most of you seem fine with it, and I love that episode. It was a great episode. So yeah, that off my chest. Also, something I'd like to bring up that I think every reactor brings up is spoilers. I haven't been spoiled on anything major. My mods are great, but they have been telling me that people are trying to always put in little hints, or like, remember this line, or remember this scene for later, or you're gonna need to know that for later, or look closely at this one line, especially like people were saying like at the end of the season, or you're gonna cry this episode, I can't wait for this episode. Like, I know you guys are excited, I know you guys have seen the show a bunch and you can't wait for me to get certain things, or you want me to know certain things that are coming, but that is spoiling. I know you guys aren't outright saying, oh, this is gonna happen in episode 5 of season 4, but the little hints, the little suggestions, the little twist on words, they're still spoilers, and the point of reactions is for me to be reacting to something for the first time blindly, not really knowing what's going to go on, what's going to happen. So let me just authentically react to it and find out for myself. But yeah, so just try to be more careful with that, guys. Just think of where I am at this current time and what you guys were when you first watched it. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know things that you should look back on that have meaning before. So, yeah. Those are just some of the topics I wanted to get off for this to start. I'm probably going to reiterate the spoiler thing when I start my new reactions, because I know not everybody watches review videos, so I'm probably going to repeat that. So if I repeat that in my next reaction, you guys can just skim over it so you don't have to hear it again. Okay, so now on to the Season 3 review. As I usually always say before my reviews, I'm not the best talker. I say I'm awkward. People are like, no, you're not, you're fine. But to me, I am. The thing is, I'll know, I always say this, but to those that haven't heard it, like, I'll know what I want to say in my mind. I'll read a question, or like, I'll be seeing something in the show, like a theme of the show, or something between the characters, and in my head I'm like, oh, I get everything that's going on. But when somebody tells me, oh, how do you feel about this season, this episode, this character, or when I answer questions, I just have a bad time explaining myself thoroughly. So I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm just going to be to the point and give probably pretty quick answers. So I hope you guys are okay with that. And if I don't answer things or explain things the way you guys like, I'm sorry. But yeah, I always want to do these reviews. I'm like, oh yeah, talk about this great season or blah blah blah. But then I stall and I'm worried because it just makes me anxious. I like having an episode to watch for you guys, so it's not just on me the whole time. But so hopefully this won't be too long. Yeah, so we're just gonna do the usual structure of what I do. I have my phone here. I'm just usually look up the screen to read stuff, and it's a little far away. Even with my glasses, like reading stuff, it's okay for watching stuff, but reading stuff. So I'll be looking down a lot to read like the questions, and I got quite a few. I will be doing the Patreon questions and YouTube and Twitter. I said I was going to sort through them and like only do certain ones for the YouTube and Twitter, but I feel bad, so I'm going to try to answer everybody's questions, but it's probably going to be more like a lightning round. Like, I'm not going to go into super depth and like take 5-10 minutes on one question, because then you guys will be here for like 5 hours. So just generally talk about season 3. I wasn't sure really what I was expecting coming in the season. I mean, it ended last season with Buffy killing Angel and leaving. We didn't know what was going to happen with that. I knew she wasn't going to stay away wherever she was going. I thought she was going to stay away longer when we saw her and Anne. That was just like a 1-episode wrap-up, and how guilty she felt for everything that happened with Angel and having to kill him, and especially since he changed back right before she had to kill him and she had to do it anyway. I felt so bad for her. But I feel like her being away helped the other Scoobies, like Willow, Xander, Cordelia. It helped them grow way more into themselves, because in previous seasons it was like, okay, Buffy was always out front and they're sidekicks, really. I mean, they still technically are. I don't want to say sidekicks. I mean, Buffy's the Slayer. She's like the main one, but since she was Khan, we saw that they had to take over um, her responsibilities. So I think they learned to have more confidence in their abilities, and we obviously saw Buffy was quite surprised to see how like organized they were. Um, I'm not gonna go too in depth on everything about the season because I mean you guys saw my reactions. This season was definitely more brighter than season 2 and season 1. I mean, with season 2 it was so much darker with Angelus coming out and like killing Jenny. Rest in peace. I'm never gonna be over that. I'm gonna like be mentioning that in season 7, like Jenny. And then with just Angel being Angelus or Angelus. Angelus? Can I say it either way? I'm not sure exactly. Um, but just see, I'm losing my train of thought. This is what I'm talking about. I know what I want to say. It was just a darker tone. And then coming to this season, yes, it was sad and Anne, but when she came back, it's like she was starting to move on when Scott was like asking her out, everything was good. Then Angel came back, and then it was like, oh no, but it still had a brighter feel to it. I mean, even the mayor as the villain, his quirkiness, he wasn't like overly like evil. And having Faith, I had a feeling they were going to bring back or have a new Slayer after Kendra died, and I thought it was great that they kept her around, because that's what I always thought it was such a waste that they barely had Kendra in before they killed her. But had the whole 2 Slayers, 1 good, 1 bad, and I think this season was so consistent. I mean, I think I loved like every single episode. And I loved every episode so far I've seen of all the seasons, but this season had such great, consistent, quality episodes. It was a very, very, very good season, so I really enjoyed it. I'm sad that Angel left, but he'll be on Angel, so I'm excited to see what he'll be like in his own show. As like the leading character, I'm guessing. I know I did get another minor spoiler that I know he's going to be in LA. It was my own fault for reading comments before my mods went through them. But that's literally all I know. It's going to be Angel in LA. And that's about it. So, yeah, no spoilers for that either, please. Okay. I'm probably going to cut as I look through things instead of me staring down at the phone trying to think of my next thoughts. So if you see a sudden cut, just know that's why. Okay, I'm gonna just do a brief talking of the characters, and I do for like each season. Starting with Buffy, I feel like she grows like every season. I think this season she, like, in Anne, she was very down herself, but once she got through that with Lily, what's her name? She got back her Slayer heart, and like what made her tick, and she knew that was her life. And when she went back, she was moving on, and even when Angel came back, she was just so much more, she had so much more strength, and I'd say she was like selfless, but in the beginning it's like she wanted to keep Angel as hers because she was afraid what the group would think. But as you like go on, when you compare her with how Faith was, you could really just see how much more she was easing into the role. We've seen every season how she started in season 1 where she didn't really want to be the Slayer, and then in season 2, now 3, like you can just see every season she's getting better, and she's really coming to terms with what her life is meant to be. Even though when she was like, oh, I can't go to college, I gotta be a Slayer, but oh, I want to go to college, but I can still do it. She's trying to find that balance. And like near the end of the season, she was like so selfless, like you guys are gonna have a prom. I might not be able to have a prom, but you guys are gonna have a prom. And it was so great seeing her have her moment. She saved everybody, and then everybody finally gave her friends due, but having the whole school show their gratitude for what she's been doing all these years that she didn't think anybody noticed, because they don't ever really seem to notice unless they're like in the situation of what's happening. And then I'd say again, when Angel was sick, she got a little more selfish again. I think when it comes to Angel, it's hard for her to be selfless. When she, well, actually, it was both. I mean, she was selfish when she wanted to kill Faith to save him, but then she became selfless when she was like, "Drink my blood. It might kill me, but I want to cure you." So it's kind of a tricky situation, but like I said, every season she's grown and grown and grown, and I'm really interested to see how her character is going to evolve in future seasons. Next, Willow. Well, like I said, Willow has been gaining confidence. Like, if we just switched back to season 1 Willow, it would seem like an entirely different character. I think once she got with Oz, and started, doing, magic and stuff, like we've seen more this season, and I hope we see more because I really love, magic and witches and stuff like that. It's like one of my favorite, genres and shows and such. But she's definitely coming to her own, and we see when she confronted Faith in Choices, I want to say, you would never have seen her in season 1 doing that. She was so meek and mousy and kind of just like, oh, don't mind me, but her confidence has just been rising, and I'm really excited to see her come more into her own, and see, hopefully, her learn more magic and really start, she can go into battles and really help out. Xander. Xander's always the, I'd say every season he's just the comical relief. He's light. His jokes, like, they're not always good jokes, but he always makes me laugh most of the time. Unless, okay, I will say this season, at the end of last season, with him not telling Buffy about Willow doing the spell, that irked me. And then this season, him continuously bringing up how Angel, killed Jenny, but it was Angel's, but he's not, it's like he's trying to use that as like a vendetta or whatever, you know what I mean, against Angel. Like, we know he's never liked him, but he kept bringing that up, and it's like, poor Giles. Like, I don't think he was even thinking of Giles anyway. He's like, oh yeah, well, Jenny's dead, so blah blah blah, and it's like, dude, be more, I don't know. That part of the season when he was like that really annoyed me, but the Zeppo, that really brought back, me really liking Xander, and I think he had, like, crisis, thinking he didn't bring anything to the group, because, Buffy is the Slayer, Willow has magic, we had faced, Alice was a werewolf, Giles has all the knowledge, blah blah blah. But Xander, I think Xander felt like he was always just in the way. But I think near the end, especially when they gave him that little special role for the final battle, I think he realized he really does help. I mean, I feel like, he keeps the group together. I feel like he's, like, I know, like, the mold that keeps them together, and it just wouldn't be the same without Xander, so. Giles, I love Giles, and his relationship with Buffy, that father-daughter relationship gets better every season. I mean, we saw that tested in Helpless. I thought it was going to really break the relationship and take a while to get back, but they seemed to get back pretty quickly. And, to see him get fired from the council, but him still be there for Buffy, things didn't really change. It didn't matter when Wesley came, he's just always there. He's like the moral compass, like, I don't think, no matter what happens, he'll always be there as her watcher. Not, I always say that he's her watcher, but I love Giles. Like, I think they would be pretty lost without him, not just for his knowledge and whatnot, but, I don't know, it just wouldn't be the same without Giles, so I just love everything he does, and, I mean, what he did in Helpless, I know he didn't want to do that. That's the only moment, but yeah, Giles. Cordelia. Okay, season 1 Cordelia, I didn't like. Till near the end, I was starting to like her. Season 2, okay, now I'm liking Cordelia. I'm really liking her. Almost, like to the love. Like, ooh, I couldn't believe I was saying that. In season 3, okay. And then, with what happened with Xander and Willow and such, I understood her treating Xander that way. But it got to the point where her grace period was done, and she was as viciously, anytime, attacking him. She wasn't never really mean to Willow. It was always Xander, Xander, Xander. And I was starting to go, here we go again. She's reverting back to her season 1 self. But even then, she was always helping them. Like, not always, but she would, you think there's times where she was helping them when she was still being mean to them. It's like, she definitely cared. Maybe partly of what it was because she was into Wesley and wanted to be around him. But I think she does care, and she knows what goes around in Sunnydale now. So maybe she feels compelled that she should give a lending hand. But then we find out why she's been acting that way. Her family lost everything. But at the end of the season, we see her and Xander come, to terms with what happened, good terms. They leave it on good terms in the prom, and she's helping out with the final battle. I'm curious to see, what's going to happen with her, because her parents don't have money for college. Maybe she'll somehow get on financial aid or something and still come to college with the others, like Buffy and Willow. It's going to be interesting to see what she does from this point, now that she's, I'm not saying money was everything, but I'm sure it's going to change her character a bit, so curious to see where she's going to go from here. I hope she gets past that season 1 mentality that I didn't like. But yeah, those were the main characters. I mean, Oz is always Oz. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, he doesn't evolve, but he kind of just stays, the stoic, I just love Oz, his just little quips and stuff, and just, straight face, and he's kind of that rock for Willow, and, from season 2 to now, I don't think he's really progressed, but I don't mind that. I love Oz, and the introduction of, Wesley, I love Wesley. I heard that a lot of people didn't accept him as well as I did. I don't know, I thought he was just adorable with his little, his little quirky little, it's just, he differed so much from, The Last Watcher. Thankfully, he wasn't evil. Yeah, and he did some bad things, like calling the guys to come, get Faith after she killed Alan, but, he was so prim and proper, and I know I've killed 2 vampires under controlled circumstances, and he thinks he's gonna be a great watcher, but then everybody ignores him. They don't listen to what he has to say, and I felt so bad for him. But I don't know, every time I saw him, he just made me smile, and I really like him. So I know he's going back to England. I hope somehow he can get back into the show, because I feel like he can be helped to them. I mean, he wasn't that much of a help during the final battle, but we'll see. And Anya, I know we didn't get to see that much of her. I thought she was just going to be a one-off character in The Wish. I should know better, because every time I say, oh, they're going to be a one-off character, then a lot of time they come back. But after she lost her powers, I really like that she seems to really be into Xander. I think she genuinely likes him, and I think he should give her a chance. And she really was helpful explaining what kind of demon he was gonna turn into, a huge demon. And she's been around all these years. I think she can really be an asset to the team. Well, she did leave, but hopefully she'll come back. I'd like to see her again. I'm such an adult. I didn't talk about Faith, duh. I'm okay, I talked about the main characters, and I talked about, the side, I'm done. No, Faith, duh. Sorry. When Faith was introduced, like I said, one of my predictions for, last season when I was talking about this season was that there was going to be a new Slayer. I didn't expect it to come so fast, and I didn't know what I was going to expect. I was hoping it wouldn't be, another Kendra copy. I mean, every Slayer's different, obviously, but she was so laid back, like I said, laid back, and just, I don't give a shit type of attitude, and it was different. Buffy definitely felt like everybody was putting the spotlight on, ooh, Faye's like, whoa, she's so awesome. But I felt like they really worked very well together. Um, I said before that I feel like, have I said this? I don't know. I feel like we have like two spectrums. Like, Kendra was on like, okay, by the book. Slayer, like, taught from a young age, and like she had to do things like the certain way her watcher says. And then you have the other spectrum, which is Faith. Like, don't tell me what to do. I do what I want. I jump in. I don't think. I'm just like, I just do whatever the hell I want. And I think Buffy's like in the middle of that. She's not like as straight laced as Kendra, but she's not as wild as Faith. I think she's like a balance between the two. But as we saw Faith, they were always marketing her as like, oh, the kind of the dark Slayer, the bad one. And as time went on, like the evil one, like now she's a villain. I think she's very misunderstood. I want her to be redeemed. I don't know. Once she started killing and killing more and killing more, it's like, and hurting Angel, I'm like, oh, you're making it really hard for me to like you. I want to like her because I like her as a character when to take the killing off. I really think she has a lot of potential, and she could really help out. Having two Slayers is like great, but now she's in the coma. She's not dead though, so she could come back. She could redeem herself. I know a lot of people in the comments have been saying there's no redemption for her. She's too far gone, and I don't believe that. I think every character can be redeemed in some way, so I'm hoping one day they touch on that. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, this is Future Amber. I'm editing my review right now, and I just realized when I was talking about the characters, I forgot to talk about Angel. I can't believe I forgot to talk about Angel. I almost forgot to talk about Faith, and now I forgot about Angel. How did I forget about Angel? Okay, I'm just going to be really quick because I gotta get back to editing. But Angel, okay, so in the end of season 2, we thought we lost him. I really wanted him to come back, but I didn't know if he would or not. I still don't fully understand how he came back, but I'm happy. So he came back very early in the season. I thought if they did bring him back, they'd wait longer, but they bring him back, and he wasn't the same Angel right away. He was very feral. He was like an animal. But seeing Buffy care for him, and slowly he returned back to his normal self. It took him a while to get back to his like full strength. But seeing the relationship between both of them, it was a bit unsteady because how it ended before, and obviously they couldn't be a normal couple. I mean, they never were a normal couple before, with her being human and a vampire. That's already not normal, and then now they realize, well, they can't get truly intimate without him losing his soul again, and they don't want that to happen. But I think they found a good medium working things out, and he was great with Faith. They had a lot in common, and I really think he could have gotten through to her if Wesley and them hadn't interrupted him. But then nearing the end of the season, he was starting to pull away from Buffy, thinking that he was taking away from her life. Like, he couldn't be out in the day with her, or be with her normally. And Joyce talked to him and others, and he just realized, I think he realized he needed to move on. Plus, he got his own show, so they needed to figure out how to move him on. I mean, I understand, like, the mayor was talking about how giving him the truth and giving them the truth, and I understand why they had to break up and why he left, but it still hurts my Angel heart. I love Angel, so I can't wait to see him on his own show and see how he changes. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to squeeze this into my editing, and yeah. Now, I usually go through every episode and like talk about every episode, but that takes a long time, and I feel like I said, you guys have seen my reactions, and I usually talk a little bit at the end of the reaction, so I'm just gonna not do that this time. It just takes quite a long time, and I'm gonna name off my. Just gonna jump straight to me talking about my favorite episodes. I mean, if you guys prefer me talking about every episode, just tell me, and maybe I'll do that next review for next season. I just feel like you see my reaction, you know what I feel about certain episodes. So yeah, we'll just go to my favorite episodes. I'm just gonna do a top 5 like I usually do. We'll start from 5 and go to 1. In 5th place is Graduation Day Part 2. I mean, that final battle was epic. Like, that whole episode, like, my heart was beating, and I just think that was an amazing confrontation. I think, almost like the Master, it ended a little too soon. It would be nice to see Buffy have to fight Giant Snake Mayor a little more, but altogether, amazing episode. Number 4 would be the prom. I said before, like, seeing everybody notice Buffy and like thank her for everything she's done all these years, and it was just a beautiful moment, and her getting to have her perfect dance like she wanted to have before in Homecoming. Finally she was having that perfect moment, and it made it even more perfect because Angel came, and even though they were technically broken up, they could still just have that moment together, like, kind of like a last moment, like being close. And I said before, I would have been fine with that being the season finale. Like, I know it was probably a little too calm for a Buffy finale, but I love that episode. I can't wait to watch it again. Next is The Wish. I've said before that I love alternate reality episodes, and like any show, whenever they do an alternate reality or universe, or they change things and like the characters are themselves but like in different, like, I just thought it was amazing. Vampire Willow was awesome. I love Vampire Willow. I'm glad they brought her back. Xander's Vampire was great. I mean, seeing the Master again, seeing how Buffy was, or seeing one little thing could change so much. It's like a butterfly effect. I wish we could get like a mini series on that universe, but I love that episode. Okay, number 2 is the Zeppo. I never thought like a Xander-centric episode would become my favorite, or one of my favorites, but I don't know if anybody else has this episode that highly in their list, but I just loved the pacing of it, the weird how the main plot line would usually be in the main was like in the background, and everything Xander was going through was, and he was like going through the different scenes, like when he went to Buffy and Angel and they were all dramatic, like, no, you can't do this, all the music, and then it would just stop, and he's like, oh, sorry, and then it would come back, and him coming like, hey, you guys need my help? I'm like, no, 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 and it's like, it was all focused on him, even the battle that Buffy and them were going through, he was running through, and everything, you were just seeing bits and pieces of it, and I just thought it was very cleverly done. I love that episode. I can't wait to see that again. Yeah, I loved that episode. It was so well done. And my favorite episode of the season is probably not that surprising. I'm sure a lot of people love this episode, but it's Doppelgangland. Oh, I love that episode. It made me laugh so much. It was amazing. Like I said before, I loved Vampire Willow. She was so cool, and I really was sad when she died in The Wish, because I'm like, oh man, I want to see more of her. And I bet you guys were giggling when you saw that reaction, because you guys knew she was going to come back. It was just so awesome to see her brought into the normal world, well, our normal world of Buffy, and seeing her have to, like, come to terms with, oh, things aren't the way they are, and she was just like, I don't want to go back, but then seeing her with, like, our Willow, and seeing Willow pretending to be her, and, oh, so many great moments. I love that episode. Like, that'll probably stay in my top even after the entire series is done, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now we're going to go into questions. Like I said before, I have trouble sometimes explaining myself or answering things in detail. Like, in my brain I'd be like, okay, this is my answer, but, so forgive me if I don't answer your question, like, as thoroughly as you probably want. Okay, we're going to start with, patron questions, because I said those will have priority, and I'll answer them all. I'm answering every question anyway. I'm ending up just answering everything, but we're going to start with patron, first, or Patreon. I always say Patreon. It's Patreon and patrons, right? Okay, hold on. Okay. First, this is from Moon Logic. They asked, how do you feel about the Watchers Council and Buffy's previous role within that organization? Um, to be honest, we never saw much of the Watchers Council. It was mostly just mentions from Giles. It wasn't until, Helpless, that we first really saw them when the guy came, to do that, um, I don't know, that rite of passage, I guess it was for them. And then we saw them again when Wesley called them to get Faith. I don't know. I feel like they're too in the old traditions of what they were meant to be. They don't seem to understand that everything that Buffy goes through and how her circumstances are different. It's like they're like we had with in Helpless. Who knows how many Slayers had died doing that. And it's like they didn't care. Oh, they're expendable. One dies, another one comes. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's, somebody mentioned this, and I agree, that it's like they don't want them to come into adulthood because they want to be able to control them, which is just, and I totally understand why she quit. Because Angel was a special circumstance. He's a vampire with a soul. He's pretty much like a vampire, like a human vampire. Does that make sense? And he has helped so much with, like, her Slayer duties. He's helped save so many and do so much, and I think it was worth it to help save him from that poison. So I understand her being like, okay, you know what, I'm done. So I think it's not really going to change much because she still has Giles, even if he's not officially the Watcher, and even if she's not officially affiliated with the Watchers Council anymore. I really don't think things are going to change, because they never really helped much anyway. They're in another country, so, like she said, they won't be able to see which way her back's turning, so, yeah. And they also asked, how different or how similar are Giles and Wesley? It was funny because when Wesley first came, he reminded me, he's almost like a young Giles. Like, I know Giles Young was, like, Ripper Giles, but, like, reminds me more of, like, how Giles probably was when he first got into his Watcher, duty. Like, okay, I'm just fresh off my training at the Watchers Council or whatever, and, it almost reminds me how he was back, like, right in the beginning of, like, season 1, you know, like, more prim and proper, but Wesley is, I think, way more, but, I just think they're similar in that sense. I almost think it's more like, I always say Wesley reminds me like he'd be almost like Giles' son. I think they're more alike than they like to admit, but I think Giles has really evolved and he's more laid back, and so in that sense they're quite different, but they're similar too. It's like, you know. Okay, Maya C. Lackman asked, how do you feel about the relationship between Faith and the mayor? I thought it was very sweet. Like, if I try not to think about, okay, what they're about, like what the mayor's doing and what he's having Faith do, it's very similar to Buffy and Giles, that father-daughter relationship. But of course, I think in Buffy's sense with Giles, it's way more genuine and authentic. I'm not saying it wasn't genuine and authentic with Mayor and Faith, but it was for the wrong reasons why he was having her do. I think he really did care for her, and it was nice for her to have somebody she could trust in and that wanted her. But in the simplest sense, he was using her. I mean, she stepped in when Trick got killed, so it's very, very complicated. But if you take everything aside, if it was like in a different universe, I think it would be a very sweet relationship. But yeah. They also asked, they asked how does it compare to the Buffy Giles relationship, which I answered. Also, do you feel Buffy would have been justified killing Faith to save Angel? No. I think that if Faith continued killing people, and she became a danger to society and to the innocent people, and she was just out of control. So I think if she continued on the way she was doing things, I think Buffy would have been justified killing her in that sense to protect people. But to just kill her to save Angel, I know that she's the cause of what happened to Angel, but I don't think it was right to just I mean, I love Angel. You guys know I love Angel, and it's hard to say this, but it wouldn't be right to kill him to kill her just to save Angel. So I don't think she would have been justified if she would have died. So, U2U49 asked, how would you describe the differences in how you feel about season 2 and season 3? I already talked about this earlier when I was talking about the season in general, but it was definitely the tone. The season much lighter than the last, was much darker in my opinion. Especially now, last season was more centered on like Angelus and him tormenting Buffy, and this season was pretty much her getting past that, him coming back, but him being Angel again. I think it was much. I mean, this season had dark moments, but I just think it felt just much more lighter, aesthetically and story-wise. And also, like I said, this season had many more consistent episodes all the way through, compared to season 2, which had some not as amazing episodes. Like, I love every episode of Buffy. There's always good to every episode, but I think this season was very strong. And they said, if anything, what stands out for you in those seasons? Last season was definitely the Angelus thing, with him losing his soul. That stands out to me because he was an amazing villain. And season 3, what stands out to me the most is probably, like, Faith and her struggle with, like, good and evil, or good and bad. And the mayor is a villain. I know when they started mentioning him last season, I was wondering if they'd show him. Then they showed him. I didn't think he was going to be the villain. He was a very different villain. I don't think I've ever seen a villain like him. Just his demeanor, and it's like, at first glance, you're like, he doesn't seem evil, but he was. He was just very interestingly written. Rafael Suarez asked, due to the plot of the show and all, we know Buffy won the fight, but if it weren't a show and this was real, who do you think is stronger and would have won the fight, Buffy or Faith? I still think Buffy would have won because she's been the Slayer longer, she's had more experience, and her drive to want, like, I know her drive at that moment was to, cure Angel, but I also think it was a combination of that and what Faith had been doing anyway. She was a danger, but I think Buffy, I think they're very close in strength, but I think Buffy has just a bit more, Faith, like we said before, she just jumps into things, she doesn't think, which can be good sometimes, but can be bad. I think Buffy just has a bit more of her mind is on straight, and she just has more experience, so I think she still would have won either way. And I think Faith is a little cocky, so she'd probably slip up either way. Moon Logic has another question. They asked, what do you think is the significance of Willow refusing to let Buffy kill her doppelganger? I think it's because, I think Willow saw parts of herself in Vampire Willow. I mean, obviously not the evil killing part, but kind of the parts I think she has deep down but doesn't want to, is too scared. Like, just that snarkiness, like, oh, bored now, like, just like, or like, just very, see, I'm having trouble, explaining myself, but you get what I mean. I think she sees parts of herself in that Vampire Willow. And also, I mean, it'd be like killing herself. I think it'd be hard just to see yourself die, even though it's not really you, but, and also I think it's because that they were sending her back to her world, so in their world, she wasn't going to be a danger, but I think if they had kept her in their world, then obviously, she would have been a danger, and they probably would have killed her, so she would have to deal with that, but yeah. Shaman615 asked, or 615 asked, who was your favorite Sunnydale High student other than the Scooby Gang? I think this is hard. I think I would probably say Amy. I know we've only seen her, 3 times, right? I think, like, she shows up, like, once every season. I'd really like to see more of her. I think she could help teach Willow more magic. She's just an interesting character. I just like her character. But then again, I'd also say, Anya. because, I mean, it's so interesting her being a demon for how many years, and now she's like 1,000 years or so, like, and now she's human, but she has all that experience, and also, I think her and Xander would be really cute together, so I think it'd be interesting to see her again and see if she ever gets her powers back. Um, I also really liked Larry. Rest in peace, Larry. Jonathan. Seeing him more near the end of the season, especially like in the prom, I liked him. So I wonder if any of them will show up in future seasons. Well, not Larry, yeah, but so if I had to pick favorite, probably Amy or Anya. I can't pick. Arnold Kim asked a very similar question. Is there anyone not in the main cast of season 3 that you want to see continue as a series regular? Amy or Anya? I'd say we've probably seen more Anya now than Amy. So, I don't know. I hope one of them is probably going to be Anya, but I will see. And Anthony asked, do you have anyone to filter out any spoilers in the YouTube comment section before you read them? Yes, I have mods. They're great. I always usually give, like, when I post one of my YouTube reactions, I usually give it a day or two before I look at the comments, let them clean it out, so I haven't got any spoilers that way, except for the other day when I was stupid and decided, oh, I'm just going to look at the comments right after I post it, I'll be fine, and I got the spoiler of Angel going to LA, because I don't think we knew where he was going. I don't think they mentioned it, but, so yeah, I have great mods, and I'm very careful what I look at. And they also said, are you ever tempted to peek at any other Buffy reactors channels, or do you have lots of self-discipline? I told myself before that I was never going to, not never, but I was going to resist watching any other reactors until after I finished the series, because I was worried about being spoiled, but I did try to watch one, and I got spoiled about Angel being the spinoff, so I think I learned my lesson. So even though I'm really tempted to watch other reactors, like, after show reactions and Liam Duke, like the well-known ones, I'm really excited to see their reactions one day, but I'm going to wait because I don't want to get spoiled anymore. I thought, oh, as long as I don't read the comments in their sections, but no, you can get spoiled by them talking sometimes too, because apparently a lot of reactors know some little things going to the show, unlike I did. But yeah, I'm very careful, so hopefully I never get any major spoilers. Okay, so that was Patreon. Oh man, this video is going to be long. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys are still here, thank you. Okay, let's go to Twitter real quick, because there's not as many on there. Amanda asked, what was your least favorite scenes that had you thinking, oh god? Probably when Faith, I guess, almost raped Xander and then was trying to kill him. That was super uncomfortable. Also, probably Balthazar, that big demon in the big tub. He was really gross. And when the mayor had those creatures in the box, I thought we were going to have another bad eggs, and nope. So, yeah. Ashley asked, do you think things are going to get better or worse for Buffy now that she graduated high school and is starting her first year of college? I don't know if they're going to get better or worse. They're definitely going to be different now, having a different setting. So I really don't know. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, she's like an adult now, so she's going to probably have more responsibilities and get used to all the changes. I'm hoping things are going to be better, but with how this show is, I don't think, I mean, I'm not going to say everything's going to be, like, terrible, but I don't think it's always going to be good. Oh, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this name. Geraint Thatcher asked, Season 3 has a brighter, less darker, gothy look to Season 1 and 2. Which look did you prefer? I talked about how they look different. I probably prefer how Season 3 is. I liked the gothic looking darker seasons, but I think I actually liked the brighter, colorful, I mean, still having dark moments, but I think I preferred the look of season 3, um, personally. Um, Heavenly Sims, shout out to one of my mods. Um, they asked, what do you think happened to, and they gave a bunch of names of characters in the alternate universe, like who lived and who didn't. They literally gave me, like, a lot. Um, Obviously, I mean, if we saw Buffy, she died, Willow died, even when she came back, poor Willow. Xander died, um, Angel died. So, the ones that didn't die, um, Giles, well, hope, like, I'm trying to think, like, what would have happened after Buffy got killed by the Master, because that's the last thing we really saw in that universe. I'd like to think, as Buffy was getting killed, Buffy, that the others escaped, so they lived to see another day. Since Buffy was killed, that means Kendra was awoken. Assuming it would have been the same. And maybe she would have been sent to Sunnydale to help with the Master problem. And she probably, sadly, would have got killed. And then Faith would have been awakened. I'd like to think maybe Faith would have came to Sunnydale and she would have had Giles to watch over her as her watcher. So maybe things would have been really different with her, and maybe she would have been the one to defeat the Master and become the Slayer for Sunnydale and fix everything. So maybe she would have been more like a Buffy type Slayer. Jesse, I think he would have been killed. I think him, Willow, and Xander were all taken since Buffy wasn't there. He was probably killed, and then Xander and Willow became vampires. Darla, I think maybe Angel would have killed her, and maybe that's why he got locked up. Luke, like, it was kind of odd we didn't see him. I think he would have been Master's right-hand man like usual, but maybe he got killed beforehand by somebody. The Anointed One. I don't know. Because he came in to, like, lead Buffy to the Master, and since she wasn't there, maybe he went, since he got out during the harvest, maybe he never needed him. They gave a lot of names, so I'm not going to go through all this. I'm hoping Oz stayed with Giles, and like, when Faith came, they became, like, the new gang. And Spike and Drusilla, I think they wouldn't probably want to be part of the Master's plan, so I think they would have still been in Sunnydale, probably with their own schemes, but without Buffy there, I think they probably would have survived a while. And then maybe things would be kind of similar with Faith there. Maybe she would have killed them. I don't know. Jenny, my wish is that she still came to Sunnydale to watch over Angel. And then once he got killed, she, like, joined Giles in the gang. She was alive, and her and Giles fell in love again, and they were happy forever. That's the one good thing in that universe. But yeah. I'm not gonna... There's more, but... Yeah, like I said, you could make that whole universe into another, like, show, really. Okay, sorry, that went on a little longer than I thought. Okay, now lastly is the YouTube comments. I'm going to try to go through these really fast because this video is going on longer than I thought. I don't think many of you are probably still watching, but if you are... See, even if it's me not going into super detail, it's still a long video. Okay... I'm just going to go, like, in order. I'll put these in order of when they were posted. Trexinvert asked, what do you think will happen in Season 4 for each specific character in terms of college, work, moving out of home, relationships, etc.? For Buffy, Willow, Xander, and Giles. Buffy and Willow are obviously going to college, so things are going to be really different. It's going to be interesting to see them not in high school and how they're gonna grow with that. Relationship-wise, they're probably gonna give Buffy another love interest. That's just how shows go. Um, and I don't know how I'm gonna react to that because I'm like a Angel shipper, but as long as Buffy's happy, I'll be happy. And Willow, hopefully Oz can come. Maybe he'll be in the same college, so I'll think she'll still be with him. Xander said he was gonna go like on his like backpacking journey, so maybe he'll meet up with Anya and maybe he'll come back with her. Like tell her everything's fine, you can come back now, and maybe he'll come back with a new perspective, and I'm sure he'll still be part of the group. I don't want him to like stay away for too long. And Giles, things were really different for him when he got fired, but now that the school is destroyed, he's not a librarian anymore. I don't know if maybe he's still technically, does he still have like a librarian license? Maybe he can work in an actual library, or I'm sure he'll still be there for the group when they need help with new foes and research, and he'll always be there for Buffy. He'll be here watching no matter what happens to me. Okay. Hello? Amber here, don't worry. Okay, next is Barbara Baker asked, who do you think grew the most this season? I said this before, but I think actually Willow. She's been gaining confidence every season. I really think she's grown immensely. Buffy too. Buffy grows every season, so I think Buffy or Willow. Joni Lee Smith asked, any characters that were in the last 3 seasons, not counting the main ones, you're hoping will make a comeback? I already answered this. So I'm thinking Amy, Anya. Who was your favorite villain out of the last 3 seasons? Angelus. I think he was amazing. So yeah. And what do you think the big bad will be for season 4? This is actually something I'm going to have my predictions, so just stay tuned for that. One of my predictions is for the big bad, so I'm going to wait to answer that until then. Morphe versus Fisher asked, fun question. We saw in The Wish how Willow was as a vampire, and Angel implies later that a vampire's personality is based on who the person was, but twisted. For example, regular Willow is shy, awkward, and nice, while Vamp Willow is confident and sadistic. All that being said, how do you think the other characters would be as vampires? And bonus, how do you think you would be as a vampire? Buffy, I think she'd just be like a very badass, like kick everybody ass vampire. We already saw Willow and Xander. Giles? I'm picturing him almost like that one vampire that helped Spike and Drew when they were getting the judge. I kind of picture him as very knowledgeable vampire that can, like, instead of using brute strength, he uses his mind. And Cordelia, I don't think she'd be much different than herself. She'd probably be just, like, amplitude, like, I don't know. I think she'd be kind of similar to herself. How would I be as a vampire? I'd say if I was a vampire with a soul, I'd be very similar to Angel, probably, like, just kind of subdued and quiet, mysterious. But I don't know, like, I'd really, like, wish I was more outgoing and more outspoken, so maybe I'd be kind of like Spike. I don't know. Really interesting to think about, though. Okay. Catherine Thurmond asked, what do you hope for season 4 in Angel? Season 4, I have no idea. I'm just excited to see them move on to, like, new locations, and just to see them grow more and what they're going to go through. I'm just excited for it in general, so. In Angel, I'm excited. I'm hoping Angel feels different than Buffy. Like, I don't want it to be a carbon copy of Buffy just with Angel. So I'm hoping it'll just have a different feel to it. Feel like a different show in the same universe. But I'm hoping there'll still be connections between the two, but I'm hoping it's different. They also asked, what did you love about this season, and what didn't you like about this season? I've said before, I love the inclusion of Faith. I thought the mayor was a great villain. Very interesting villain. I thought every episode was very consistent, so I liked that. What didn't I like? I didn't like Angel had to leave, and they broke up, and I was sad. but it made for a great arc. But I don't think there's really anything I don't like about this season. This season was great. Really hard to make me not like something. John Johnson asked, I'm just going to, this question would take too long, so I'm just going to jump to the last question they asked. Has the series so far lived up to your expectations? More so. I had no idea what I was going to. I knew it was about a girl named Buffy who slayed vampires. I thought it was going to be similar to maybe Vampire Diaries type-esque show, but I had no idea how amazing this show was, and it makes me wish I had seen it way sooner. So it surpassed my expectations. They also asked for predictions for season 4, which I'll talk about soon. Yeah. Sorry for not answering your full question, but if you want to know more about, they asked about for other seasons, you can go to my review videos for that if you want to know more about how I felt. Angelic asked, who is your favorite character so far? And they said, I love Willow. I agree. Willow's my favorite character. Followed closely probably by Buffy and Angel. I love the whole cast, but Willow, she's been my favorite since like the beginning. I don't think that's going to change, but we'll see. Amanda Luxton asked, what did you think of the mayor as the big bad? I've already talked about this, but my favorite thing, what I thought about him was that he was a very, he wasn't a typical villain. Like, what his goal was bad. I mean, he wanted to turn into a big demon and kill everybody and take over pretty much, but the way that he was so old-fashioned sounding and just, like, laughing and, oh, have some cookies and milk, and it was so odd, but great. I think he was an amazing villain. Is there anything I want to see from the villains next season that you haven't seen yet? I'm going to be talking about the villain for, or the big bad for next season, but villain-wise, I don't know, I think I'd like to see more villains like Spike, like, more, especially the vampires, like, have more vampires with personality, yeah. Figgy5119 asked, now that you noticed a lot of characters you didn't think would come back eventually, are there any characters you hope will appear again? I've already answered this, so yeah. Isaac Bar David asked, do you think Faith is a bad person? No. I think she has done bad things, and she's gone on the wrong path, but deep down, I don't think she's a bad person. I think she can be redeemed. So no, I don't think she's bad. I just think she just went the wrong way. Geek Girl asked, which character do you think had the most progression in Season 3? I already answered this. I think it's Willow or Buffy. Suki Galetta. They said I can call him Suki. I'll just call him Suki. Do you think Faith will come back? And if she does, will she be a friend? Will she be the next season's big bad or something else? I think she will come back, because if they didn't want her to come back, they would have killed her fully. But they put her in a coma, which leaves her open-ended. I don't know if she'll come back next season, or later in the series. And if she comes back, I don't know if she'll be different. I mean, she got, like, head trauma. Maybe she'll have an amnesia. That'd be interesting if she had amnesia. That'd be a cool storyline. I don't think she'll be, if she doesn't, I definitely don't think she'll be a friend right away, but hopefully, they'll be able to get her back to their side with everything that's happened. So if she does come back, I don't know if she'll be a big bad. Maybe, for a little bit. But yeah. Kaylin S. asked, you've seen enough of Angel by now to have a strong perspective of who Angel is around Buffy. But once that influence is removed, how do you think Angel will change? How long do you think it'll be before each moves on? I mean, it took Buffy a while to move on from Angel after she killed him, or thought she killed him. But they're both very strong individuals. I think it'll take a little bit. They'll be sad, but I think they'll both move on. I'm sure Angel, when he's on his own show now, he'll have his own problems to deal with. So, I think we'll see Angel come more into himself and not all be about, okay, protecting Buffy. I'm hoping he'll think more about himself and who he wants to be in his life, or Well, he's not alive, but you know what I mean. Do you think the Joyce Buffy? They asked quite a few questions. Do you think the Joyce Buffy relationship will improve, stay the same, or go downhill even more in season 4? We don't see Joyce that much, and I mean she's come around a bit to understanding Buffy's situation now that she's a Slayer. But with now Buffy going to college, I don't know if she's gonna stay at college like in dorms or if she's gonna come back home. But I feel like if she's not home much, I don't think we're just gonna see much of their relationship. So I don't know. I think if she doesn't come around much, she's probably going to get strained. I'm hoping Joyce will come around more. What's your favorite one-liner from this season? Favorite quote? I cannot think off the top of my head. I think my favorite thing ever was when I said yay the same time as Xander did in this episode. Like, that was gold, but there's too many amazing quotes and lines. I cannot just pick one, and I can't think of the top of my head right now. But maybe I'll answer that later, like on YouTube. If I can think of it later, I'll reply. Oh, and they said they're not gonna post much for season 4. They ignore that season. Oh, well. Thanks, Kaylin, for all your comments. I hope to see you back soon. Okay, Flea asked, who are my favorite guest characters from the first 3 seasons? I kind of already mentioned who my favorite guest ones. Amy, Anya. They also asked Mr. Trick. He was very interesting, but probably Amy and Anya. Ems Lindsay asked, how do you think this season differs from the other 2? I've already pretty much answered that. Who's the character you're most excited to see more of? I'm always excited to see more Willow, so definitely Willow. Side characters, I've already said who I want to kind of see more of. What did I think of the Mayor Faith relationship? I've already answered that. And what are your least and favorite episodes of the season? I already talked about my favorite episodes of the season. Least favorite? I have to look. Hold on. I'd probably say Dead Man's Party, because the confrontation between Buffy and everybody was very uncomfortable for me. Then probably I'd say Gingerbread. I mean, it was a good episode, but definitely not my favorite. There was one more I was gonna say. Where'd it go? Oh, and Beauty and the Beasts. It was amazing seeing Angel come back, Buffy and him Buffy figuring out he was back. That was a great moment. But the episode itself, with the guy abusing the girl, I didn't like that part. So, every episode had great moments, but if I had to pick a few, those would be it. Okay, so we finally got through all the questions. Maybe I should have sorted through those, because some of them, I was going to sort through them, but some of them, obviously were repeated questions, and I did not expect this video to go on this long, so I'm sorry. I always say, oh, my review is just going to be a half hour. I'm not going to do long, but it's probably over an hour now. I'm really sorry. So yeah, I think only the dedicated fans are going to still be here. So we're rounding up to the end of my video now. I'm just going to go into predictions. First, I'm going to look at my predictions for season 3, and see if I got them right or wrong. I know I already got them right, because I think already into the first few episodes of the season, all my predictions came true. But let me just go back to my season 2 review. I should have already got this. Hold on. I'll be back. Yeah, my 3 predictions for this season was that Angel was going to come back, that we were going to get a new Slayer, and that Willow was going to do more magic. So those pretty much came true. So I was 3 for 3 that time. And my predictions for season 4 are, we already know this is true, but obviously they're going to be going to college, so everything's going to be shifting to probably that new set, and there's going to be a bunch of new sets. So I'm going to say that there's going to be a lot different look to the show and a feel to the show, so that's my prediction, which I'm pretty sure is going to come true, obviously, but I already wrote this before I read all the questions and really thought about the college thing. My next prediction is that we're going to see Faith again. I don't know if maybe Buffy's going to have more dreams with her, or if we're going to see her, she's actually going to wake up this season. I know she's probably going to wake up sooner or later. Maybe not this next season, but I predict maybe she'll come back in some form, even if she's not awake yet. And I was mentioning, people asked a lot of questions like, who do you think is going to be the new big bad for the next season? What do you want to see as the next big bad? I think it would be interesting to see if one of the Scoobies became the big bad. I mean, we had Faith become kind of a big bad. We had Angel become kind of like he was the big bad. But, like, one of the core group, Willow, Xander, Giles, like, I don't know if they'd get possessed or if something would happen. But I think it'd be very interesting if the big bad was one of the closest people to Buffy. I mean, Angel was, but you know what I mean. One of the core Scoobies. I just think it'd be very, very interesting to see them be the big bad. Though, if they become the big bad, I don't want them to be killed off like big bads usually are. So, yeah, those are my predictions for season 4. I guess I could give predictions to Angel, but I really have no idea what Angel's going to be about. Like, I didn't give predictions to season 1 of Buffy, obviously, before I started. My hopeful thing is that Angel's going to have a different tone from Buffy. It's going to be different. We're going to see Angel grow more into himself as a character. And I'm hoping, I know there's going to be some crossovers, so I hope we see characters from Buffy. Yeah, so, sorry about this being so long. I really did not expect this to be that long. I never do. I think this might be my longest one yet, maybe? I don't know. I hope I answered your questions okay. And I hope I explained myself decently enough. But yeah, I'm really excited to get onto season 4 of Buffy. I can't wait to see what it's like, and I can't wait to get into Angel. I want to get these out, at least start the premieres of each show before the end of the month, so you guys can expect at least the premieres of both shows before the end of the month. Probably, I'd say, maybe by this weekend, hopefully, because I've already taken a little bit of a break, so I think my mind's ready to start new stuff. So I hope you guys are excited, and oh yeah, I mentioned before, I have a Discord server now. I've already opened it early to patrons and to Twitter, but now I'm going to open it free for everybody. There will be a patron section for patrons to talk in, so they can have their own, special space. But everywhere else, everybody can talk. There is spoiler sections and non-spoiler sections. So be very careful where you talk. The ones that say just Buffy chat and Angel chat, you can only talk about stuff I have seen. So it'll say Buffy first, no spoilers, Buffy chat, Angel chat. And it'll say above on the top that you could talk about just stuff I've seen. Then the ones that say Buffy spoilers, Buffy spoiler chat, and Angel spoiler chat, you can talk about anything. I don't care what you talk about, any season, any character, anything that happened, I won't look. I have those channels muted. I think a lot of reactors have both spoiler and spoiler-free channels. Just be very careful which one you click. Make sure you read the top and where it says you can or you can't talk about stuff. So yeah, just be very careful. I have mods, but I really don't want to get spoiled, so I hope you guys come in and chat. It's nice to have somewhere else we can just chat casually. So yeah, I'll post that in the description. I'll probably mention it again for people that don't watch this or don't watch to the end, because I'm sure a lot of people were like halfway through this video like, okay, I'm done. So yeah, that was season 3. Amazing season. And I'm excited to continue on. We're like halfway through the series now, and we're starting Angel, and things are going to get very exciting. So yeah, I'll see you guys really soon. Bye.